Grab your sunscreen. Junkyard Life's headed to Puerto Rico, hunting old cars on the island. My son Joe and his two friends Seth and Ian needed a chaperone on their senior trip after high school graduation. I grabbed my buddy Anthony Powell. He's always up for a trip, and he had once been to Puerto Rico, spoke a little Spanish. He was more than eager to go back and see some Latin ladies and maybe catch up on a new one. We grabbed an Uber and headed to Old San Juan. We stayed in a hostel. It was super cheap and also super hot. That's because it didn't have AC, but it had some cool artwork. We stashed our bags and hit the streets looking for something cool. Hopefully a bunch of classic cars. There you go, man. We checked the map and kept wandering. Here's a sneak peek of some of the cars we found. But first, we gotta get some food, see the beach. We were totally exhausted from all the walking we did. That's when we discovered a little secret. Cats are everywhere in San Juan. They cover the city. Originally introduced by Spanish settlers who wanted to rid the land of rodents. I'd say rodents lost the battle. If you threw a cat here, I'm sure it would land on another cat. They were everywhere. Just as we were wrapping the day up, we finally saw an old car. A Volkswagen Beetle, sitting by the beach. Old San Juan Cemetery overlooks the ocean and sits beside one of Puerto Rico's most famous landmarks. El Morro is a 500-year-old fort built to defend San Juan from enemies. It had walls up to 40 feet thick and spectacular views. The younger crowd went to explore the nightlife in Puerto Rico. Me and Anthony ate some meat pies and called it a night. Most common sights on four wheels were Mini Coopers and Toyota FJ Cruisers on many of the blue brick streets. Tourists from all over the world were enjoying Umbrella Street. We even ran into some people from Alabama. It's crazy. This is a beautiful place and shouldn't be missed if you get the chance. There's always a beach nearby if you want to take a swim. Finally, we saw an old Bronco. This is a sign of good things to come. Let's keep looking. Look at that. We discovered a 1964 Ford Galaxy 500 four-door while exploring a seedier side of San Juan while looking for another cheap hostel to stay in. Unfortunately, they were booked up. Rooms aren't cheap in San Juan. We should have slept in the Galaxy to save money. My son had secured rooms for him and his friends, and we thought we could double it up and sleep on the floor. Not so fast. This part of the trip, we had separate accommodations from the younger group. 4 nights on our own. I hope we survive. We were ready to go exploring a notorious neighborhood in San Juan known as La Perla, originally built in the 18th century outside the walls of San Juan by slaves who were required to live outside the city, adjacent to a slaughterhouse and a cemetery. Today it's still made of shantytown-like houses, but they're all colorfully painted. And they have a really cool skateboard area known as El Bowl. Part of the neighborhood's been featured in videos such as Despacito and movies. It's a colorful place. The area's bad reputation for danger and drugs was not known to us when we walked around. Sometimes ignorance is bliss. Oceanfront View Cemetery. Too good to be true. We continued our walking tour, made some new friends, and Anthony even learned how to fly a kite. The big plaza outside El Morro was full of kites, people trying to fly them. This is a close-up view of El Morro. There was an iguana. Lots of cool stuff. Day 4. We gotta find some cars. Let's get our van. We got some wheels now. A total of 5 on our junkyard vacation adventure, so we settled on a Ford 250 Transit van because it was the cheapest large vehicle, but a windowless cargo floor for 3 unlucky souls in our travel party. A traditional minivan rented for $400 per day.
I like the green lights on the police.
How do you turn right from the left lane? My lane here.
I like your matching shirt and shoes there, Ringo.
Now for some wacky Puerto Rico traffic.
Man, some guys just know how to ask for
Anyone who has driven in Puerto Rico will tell you it's a different experience. I found it a test of my driving skills. Encountering a horse galloping down a country road, gruesome iguana roadkill, those things are huge. Traffic lanes that seem too small for two small cars, let alone a full-size cargo van and a dump truck meeting head-on in a turn. My son Joe and his friends Seth and Ian spent more than a dozen hours of travel in the dark cargo area. Their access to the cab was limited by a metal screen. The fatigue was starting to show in Seth's eyes.
The van we have. The cat's under the van.
The trio spent hours sleeping or sliding atop the black plywood. The passengers were getting restless. We opened the door of the van, riding through part of the rainforest. The prisoners were getting hot, tired, and hungry. We knew we wouldn't find any old cars, but we had to check out the river in the El Yunque National Forest. I was about to buy me a hat made by this local, but first, we're going to take a swim. We found a good watering hole.
One of those flesh-eating parasites, but
No parasites. Joe got an earache, I got a new hat, and we hit our rental house up in the mountains overlooking the El Yunque National Forest. It's a sight to behold. The boys were just hanging out for a while. We had to take them back to San Juan. We all relaxed, hung out with the cat. Day 5. Just the neighborhood horse galloping down the street. Man, this house was awesome. Came with the cat. Anthony and I decided to tour Rio Grande. We spotted a gentleman working on the ornate ironwork outside his home, getting ready to paint it. We struck up a conversation with Juan and found out that he once lived in the Huntsville, Alabama area. Small world. Well, he couldn't help us find any old cars, so we had to keep looking. Thought we'd see more Jeeps. We found one. We were surprised to get behind a ZR1 Corvette on the rough roads of Puerto Rico. It was a rental.
In a
Go
van
figure.
that cost like $1,400 for a few days. And we're behind a ZR1 Corvette that somebody rented at Kenneth Car Rental. I wonder how much he paid, or she paid.
Muy expensive.
But rent early. Don't wait till you get here. It'll cost you.
This is the place. I think this is the place. When you can't find old cars, it's time to hit the beach. Loquillo Beach in Loquillo, Puerto Rico was the place to be this Saturday. It was kind of packed out. Water was calm. We met a great couple in the parking lot about to jump in their VW van. This was a deluxe model Volkswagen Westfalia. Featured a stove, refrigerator, and all the extras. The owner added the Porsche wheels. He looked like he had a lot of fun shifting the gears and honking the horn as he pulled out of the parking lot that day. We spent about 20 minutes talking to him. We couldn't understand much of what he said, and he couldn't understand what we said either. But it was cool just being with somebody who enjoys cars as much as we do. This beige mini motorhome has a whole host of options. Sink, stove, toilet, fold-out bed, a whole bunch of other stuff. You could live in this thing. You could go anywhere you want to go, as long as you weren't in a hurry. This couple really knew how to have a good time. They loved to have fun in their VW and enjoyed showing it off.
Está cumpliendo, celebrando todavía, celebrando. ¿Tú?
come on out here a little. Oh, there you go, you got it.
couldn't tear ourselves away from Kilo Beach. We stayed till the sun set. The crowds vanished and it was like we were on Gilligan's Island. Day 6. It was time to head back to San Juan and pick up the boys and head across the island. We were on the eastern side. We had to hit the western side to get to Rincon, our next destination. 114 miles away.
Caged animals.
It was a Sunday, and we picked a random spot on the side of the highway to get out and stretch our legs. We also saw another VW Westphalia doing the same. We chose the southern route to hit Ponce, La Paguera, and Boquerón.
Make a U-turn.
We got a few more miles than we expected, but worth it.
Pretty much right by La Paguera, a little ways down the road.
Can you spot the square body? Those things are hot. You see them everywhere, even Puerto Rico. We even found a BMW truck made out of a 4-door. Hood scoops, G-bodies, everywhere. A Corolla wagon? Finally, one of my wrong turns turned out right. We met Senor Vega Sunday afternoon. We woke him from his nap on the porch when we saw his chili pepper green 1955 Chevy. We couldn't help but jump out of the van and check it out. Senor Vega is a mechanic who loves to drive his classic all over Ensenada, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, you drove today. Yeah.
350 AC.
This V8 2-door Chevy Bel Air is the highlight of the trip so far. Alright, we finally made it to Rincon and our humble abode. Even had a lighthouse nearby. We had to check that out. Day 7. Our energy was renewed after seeing the old 55 Chevy. I got up early and walked the beach with Joe. Couldn't quite sleep so good on the futon. Hey, maybe tonight I'll sleep better. Our motel is also home to the Nacho Libre, Hispanic wrestling-themed watering hole. I made it my goal to buy a Nacho Libre t-shirt. Trouble was, they were out of stock. I'd have to wait. Rincon is a surfer's paradise in December. Orange VW buses are a staple here. We counted a handful. We spotted a rough old 1955 Chevy across the street from where we had dinner. We finished the night at the Nacho Libre, where I decided I was getting that t-shirt. Little did I know that shirt would be the costliest part of this trip.
I'm coming back tomorrow to get a shirt.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
They got a new shirt out.
We also met Ramberto Cobian, interested in beach town local. We bid him farewell as he sailed off on his motorcycle. Into the night. We made it to day number 8. An orange VW. Somebody hit somebody. 5 a.m. walk on the beach seemed like a good idea. This was going to be one of our busiest days yet. We were to travel to Boquerón, check out the beach, and then head to La Paguera so we could check out the Bayou Bay. We saw a bunch of interesting cars, including this wrecked BMW at the Bayou Bay tour place.
What is this right here?
See the shifter? It's a BMW 3 Series.
Wow.
Probably from the 80s. These were hot stuff when I was in high school.
That's cool.
I'm not your BMW expert, but it looks like a 1985 BMW 323i.
It's terrible.
Moonroof.
Watch out.
Should have a 6-cylinder engine. Let's see what's under the hood. Inline. Inline 6. That's the Beamer. Beamer Magic. And, and such. See?
They backed it up right onto this pole.
323. Not much for German cars, but hey, we had some time to kill. We were waiting on our canoe trip, and then we were going to do the Bayou Bay later. But in between, we're going to check out La Parguera and the rolling parade of cars. Only 5 places in the world have bioluminescent bays, and 3 are in Puerto Rico. We had to check it out. Unfortunately, on my rush to get home, I got a $500 ticket for running a red light. Idiot. Day 9. The idiot got his t-shirt. If I did anything right, it was get 3 18-year-olds back home safe to their parents. And we saw some old cars along the way. Time to get on the airplane. Hold on, I hate airplanes. Don't worry if there's no time to pay your ticket before you leave Puerto Rico. The rental company will be glad to charge it to your credit card. Ask me how I know. This is Jody Potter with Junkyard Life. Thanks for watching. Appreciate all the support. Like and subscribe. And hey, if you want a t-shirt just like the ones I'm wearing in the video, I'll put a link in the description. It was great to have you along for the trip. I had a blast in Puerto Rico. We saw some old cars. Maybe it wasn't the greatest experience because I had to pay $520 for a t-shirt. Do you think it was worth it? Let me know in the comments. Couldn't have done it without these guys. Thanks, Joe, Ian, and Seth.